Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. It's Dawn. How are you tonight? It is 1 week till Easter, and I love this time of year. Typically, it is spring, and I am spring cleaning, and I'm getting ready. Is there anybody here in the Midwest that woke up this morning and felt like they were in a crazy episode of Groundhog Day? How are you this evening? Okay, so I opted for, if you missed the last video, I don't know if you can see it, I opted for the copper color. Hey Lori, hey Ann, how are you tonight? Lisa, oh gosh, it's good to see you guys. I want to talk to you a little bit about this law of design and about prioritizing and about life. And here's what I can't emphasize enough about this one. I was just doing my jumps and getting myself all pumped up to talk to you. It is 9 o'clock here tonight, and this one I've sat on for a couple days because I really wanted to come to you tonight. You know, as we go into this week, and it's an amazing week, but I want to really emphasize the fact that life is not a dress rehearsal. So, you know, at one point or another, we're going to come face to face with our mortality, right? And when you sit back and you look at the course of your life, it's about no regrets, right? It's about understanding that this is our one chance, you know. And what are the things that you're sitting here going, I wish I would do better. I wish I would take care of my health better. I wish I would have been more focused on my goals. I wish I would have created a plan for my success and what my life looked like. You know, how many of you really have a blueprint, a design for what you want your life to look like? And you look back and you're like, and I can tell you, I do it. I wish I would have done this when. I wish I would have spent more time with this person. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. I wish we would have taken more vacations together. I wish. So what are all of those things that are on your I wish list? And I'm trying to see what everybody's commenting here. Hey, Susan, how are you this evening? Lisa, I see you there, girl. So, you know, as we talk about these strategies and as we talk about these priorities, some of these things are as simple as what you do on a daily basis. What are your daily routines like? What does your calendar look like? What does your planning look like? So I'm going to talk to you from different areas, and whether you are somebody who is really focused on business and success and a blueprint of where you're going, what you want to do. I have it happen all the time where I might be coaching somebody who's been in the direct sales or the network marketing space for quite some time. And what I can't emphasize enough is that regardless of time spent in the industry, and this is something that I came up against head to head with about 3.5 years ago, that there is no correlation between the time spent in something and your excellence in something unless you truly understand systems, unless you truly understand strategies, unless you change the way you practice, because practice does not make perfect. Practice makes something permanent, guys. And if you really want to change the direction of where you're going, the biggest mistake you can make, though, the worst thing you can say is, we've always done it that way. Because you are just on a track to stalemate. You're on a track to no growth. You're on a track to like not pushing past and seeing your potential. So what are your daily habits like? It could be business. It could be your health and wellness. And this is something that I try to implement all the time. Hey, Teresa, how are you, girl? This is something that I try to implement all the time with any of my clients that I'm coaching in a health and wellness spectrum. It's the daily habits, it's the discipline, it's laying a calendar out. So let's talk about daily routines for just a moment. What I do every Sunday night is 10-15 minutes. I lay out my week. I know where all my appointments are. I know who I'm working with that week. I know what I'm doing as far as prospecting and follow-ups. I know what coaching clients I'm working with. I know what training clients I'm working with, and I know where I have all my appointments set. But here's something that's really, really important to me. I put my family in my calendar first. So a lot of times people want to schedule an appointment or set some time. What's really important to me is making sure that I don't plug somebody into my calendar before I plug my husband or my kids into my calendar. So my family always gets plugged in first, whether it's time spent with them. Luke and I used to do, and I don't know if it's coming back on, but we had our Walking Dead date nights on Sunday night. That's something I did with my son every Sunday night. That went in my calendar. Brooke has pitching lessons, or she might have some softball games or something she needs to attend. That goes in my calendar first. So make sure that the people that you love the most get the priority in your calendar and not the leftovers in your calendar. So plug them in first. Plug yourself in first. So do you have all your workouts for the week already scheduled? I can tell you for the entire week, all the way through next Sunday, what times I am working out, the time that I dedicated to myself for reading, for meditation, for workouts. It's planned, it's scheduled in, because guess what happens? If it doesn't, I'm left with the scraps of the day. If you don't plan your family in, they're left with the scraps. Why are we giving the most important people in our life the scraps of our time? Make sure you and your family are plugged into your calendar first. Once that happens, everything else is seamless. Once that happens, you don't feel like you're juggling, or you don't feel the guilt, or you don't feel overwhelmed, right? Or you don't feel resentful. I used to get really resentful when I was giving away my most precious time, and then my kids weren't getting the time that they needed. My husband wasn't getting the time that he needed. So really be careful and protective about your family time and your personal time. Make sure that gets in your calendar first. So systems, what are some of the systems that you're doing? Are you sitting down on Sunday night before you start your week? Because once you start your week, it's as good as gone. Are you sitting down Sunday night and making sure I time block? So I'll give myself 90 minutes of work time, and I do that 2 to 3 times a day. That's work time dedicated to one of my businesses or the other. And so I have that strategically planned out. I want to dedicate so many hours a week to my coaching and training business. I want to dedicate so many hours a week to my network marketing business. Those are all time blocked in my calendar. So what are you doing from a planning standpoint? Systems are crucial for your success. Systems allow ordinary people to do extraordinary things. So if there's an area in your life, if it's your wellness, have you planned out your meals for the week? Have you planned out, and this is where I'm going to share this with you, because I am at a little bit of a crossroads, and I went from a very, very disciplined meal planning schedule that I was eating 5 meals a day, and I've been doing that. I was doing that for honestly the past 30 weeks. It was something regimented, it was structured, it was disciplined, and I thrive in structure. If you're the type of person that thrives in structure, you can completely understand what I'm talking about. I knew that I needed to eat so much protein, so many carbs, so many fats for every single meal, and then I changed it, and I increased the calories, and we increased my macros, and I've been doing so amazing with that. Well, I've changed that up over the past week, and it got a little crazy and a little out of hand. So my system changed. And anytime we change our systems, it's for a deliberate reasons. So if a system's not working for you, if a system is failing you, if a system's not helping you reach success at a different level, you either have to, 1, change the system, or you have to abandon it. But systems will allow you to create simplicity in your life. They'll allow you more time freedom in your life. They'll allow you more flexibility, and they'll actually allow you to hone in on the things that you want to accomplish. Hey, Chrissy. Hey, Doug. How are you guys? Okay, so I want to make sure I keep this short and sweet here for you. So what's the big picture? So as you're kind of designing these systems, as you are looking at your priorities and you're looking at your calendar and you're designing your week or whatever it may be, whether again it's business, it's health and wellness, whatever it is that has that vision of success. What is your big picture? What do you want to accomplish? And you can pick a different lane, and it could be for some people it's very related to their professional aspirations, right? For some people, it's very related to their health and wellness aspirations. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, when you meet your mortality, don't sit back and go, I wish I would have had a better plan. I wish I would have spent more time with these people. I wish, right? Because this is not a dress rehearsal. We get one chance at this. So laying out a blueprint of what you want to accomplish starts with the big priority. What is that big picture? And then we break it down into baby steps. The priorities. Some of my priorities, for example, I want to reach a certain threshold in my business, or I want to, in my network marketing business, or if I want to reach a certain threshold in my coaching and my training business, right? I set those goals. Now what I need to do is prioritize around that. And that priority comes down to one, me understanding what the action steps are that I need to take. Okay, so just for example, I'm going to just use my network marketing business. And there's an area where I feel that I need to grow, right? I know what my strength is. And remember, it's so important to be operating within your strengths. But it's also really important to understand that time has no relevance on this equation, has nothing to do with your excellence. What has everything to do with your excellence is your ability to be very deliberate in the skills that you practice, okay? So time is elusive. We all have the same amount of time, and it's a matter of what we're doing with that time that's gonna make the difference, guys. So when I look at my priorities in that business, I understand that I need to accomplish certain tasks at hand. I want to ask you this because this is really important. What are the most productive hours of your day? And when I'm looking at the priorities that I need to tackle in my business, when I understand that XYZ needs to happen over the next 3 days, what I make sure to do is I plug the steps that I need to take into the most productive hours of my day. Because here's what's going to happen. If I don't, I'm not going to be on my best game. I'm not going to be as productive as I possibly can be. So I know I'm a morning person, and I love to get up before the rest of the world is up, before anybody can call me or talk to me, because I can do what I need to do and get it done. If you're productive in the evening, make sure that you're doing the things that need to be done in your most productive windows of time, because you will accomplish so much more. So when I time block in my calendar, when I plan and I know that there's something significant that needs to be done, I make sure that I'm doing those tasks in those windows that are the most productive use of my time. Again, I time block 90-minute segments. And then I get up, I walk away from it, because I know if I continue to sit there and just stare at it, nothing's going to happen. You, as long as you're working within your strength zone and in your most productive hours, you're going to see the greatest return on your investment. You honestly will. You'll see the highest return. Measuring. Here's something that's really important, especially when I'm working with, it doesn't matter whether I'm working with my team members and my colleagues in my network marketing business, or whether I'm working with my coaching and training clients. We measure everything. Hey Amanda, hey Sean, how are you tonight? So what are you measuring? When it comes down to these strategies, you have to be able to measure. If you're seeking success in any realm, you have to be able to measure. So I'm just going to use my training and my fitness clients with regards to this particular one. We measure by weight, but we measure more importantly with a tape measure, right? Because I'm looking for certain variables. I'm looking to see if they've reached a plateau. I'm looking to see the successes and the wins so we can celebrate them. But we measure, because if I can measure it, I want you to think clearly about this one. anything, okay, that we do, if we're striving towards success, if we measure it, we can understand it, right? If we understand it, we can control it. And if we can control it, then we can change it. I hope that really makes sense to you guys, because this is crucial. If you don't have the ability to measure, hey Greg, how are you? If you don't have the ability to measure something, okay, there is no possible way that you can make the changes that you need to be able to leverage everything else that we've talked about. Your strategies, your plan, your time, the execution of it, you have to be able to measure it. So whatever you implement, make sure that there's a measuring stick somehow, some way attached to it. All right, organization. The number one thing the number one thing that is a time waster for most people is the inability to find something, okay? And so if you're a business person, if you come into my studio, every single one of my clients, they have their own files. I track and I log every single workout I've done with them. I know what we worked on. I know their measurements. I know every single thing, you know, what they ate. And you can ask them, Amanda, you're still here. So I know everything that they ate, everything that they did. So we measure. Organization is key in my business, in my network marketing space, in my speaking space, in my coaching space. I've taken people on tours through my cabinets in the past, and I picked this little trick up from, hey Nicole, from John Maxwell, my dear mentor. I have files for everything. I have files for inspiration. I have files for leadership. I have files on time management. I have files on files on files. If I find something in a great book, and you guys, I'm just gonna hold this up here because this is, I'm dropping things. This is one of my books, right? And you can see I tab things and I highlight and I write in my books. And guess what I do? I photocopy this stuff. So anything that's tabbed is really, really important to me. I photocopy it, and on the top of the photocopy, I put, you know, time management, leadership development, organization, planning, strategies, whatever the topic is, because I want to be able to reach for that in a moment's notice and be able to share something. And I do it with all of those big aha moments. I do it with quotes. For the book that I've been notoriously tackling for the past few years, I do it with everything, and I have a system for most things that I do. So what are your systems? What does your calendar look like? What are your strategies for success? And most importantly, consistency. So the past couple days I haven't done a video for you, and I think about this one because sometimes it's easier to say, you know what, I'm exhausted, or nobody wants to hear me, and you're constantly, that negative self-talk comes into your head. But here's what I can tell you. Consistency plays an incredible role. It's the most crucial piece to all of this. It's a matter of being disciplined, because if you do things only 50% of the time or 60% of the time, and your follow through, your accomplishment, you're gonna feel defeated. You're not gonna feel like you have any wins under your belt. You're not gonna feel like you have much stride or much success, right? But even if you miss a couple days, and I talk to clients about this all the time, I talk to my team members about this all the time, especially young team members that are just growing a network marketing business. I will tell them, whatever you do, do it consistently. If all you can dedicate to your business is 1 to 3 hours a week, do it consistently. If all you can dedicate to your business is 5 to 10 hours a week, do it consistently. Whatever it is, you have to do it consistently. Otherwise, you'll never reap the benefits. You'll never reap the reward. And so sometimes we're like, oh gosh, I give up. And I see this happen with my training clients all the time. In my training clients, I see this happen with my nutrition clients all the time, where they have one bad day, or they'll have a setback, or they'll feel like, I had a text today that was like, oh, I fell off the wagon. There's no such thing as far as nutrition. You still ate something tonight, right? We just make a better decision tomorrow. Because here's what I do know. If you give something a 30-day commitment, or if you give something a 40-day commitment like I did, right? And if on day 30, you kind of like lose track, you lose momentum, you lose energy, you're not feeling it, right? So do you throw in the towel for the other 10 days? Because then what's your percentage of success? 75%? But guess what happens? If I only miss 1 or 2 days and I finish the task at hand, guess what? I've just increased my completion up to like 90% or 95%, right? And that's a much higher percentage. That's a much different feeling of accomplishment than only 75%. Here's what I do know, and I ask this question all the time. You know, how compliant were you, or how much on pace were you, or how much on plan were you when it comes to my nutrition clients, right? If it's one of my team members, I'll ask them, you know, how consistent were you this week? So on a scale of 1 to 10, and whatever the measuring stick is, again, remember, if we can measure it, then we can understand it. If we can understand it, we can control it. If we can control it, then we can change it. But unless there's a measuring stick in place, there's no room for modification. There's no room for improvement. There's no room for growth, guys. And so I hope you take this law of design to heart. I hope you start to implement strategies. Feel free, ask questions. If you're looking for a system, looking for ideas, looking for structure, looking for discipline in order to take either your health, your wellness, or your business to the next level, drop your comments below. What do you do? Can you share with somebody else? People love ideas in this realm. Remember, systems allow ordinary people to do extraordinary things. I want to know what systems you're using, because I'm always looking for an opportunity to elevate my success. Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.